Today I am going to review what it's like being a pure generator. I am a pure generator with an attachment to my spleen. And what is it like being me? I'll tell you. So, I have always had this sense of being very quick. And I actually was super annoyed by everybody else because they weren't as quick as me in the world. And it frustrated me. But actually knowing human design, it actually allowed me to gain a lot of compassion towards the other because it made me realize that not everybody is meant to be super quick in life. People need to take their time. People need to gain clarity. But for me, I always got super frustrated that people weren't keeping up to me. And I don't mean intellectually. What I mean is like, I get out of the car and my man and my kid are still in the car while I'm still in the store, or while I am already in the store, you know? So another one, a store example is I know what I want at the store. Bam, 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 out of the store. Whereas my man spends a long, long time inside the store, right? So it just is. And it has allowed some compassion towards the other regarding the speediness in which they do things. Not everybody is meant to be instantaneous. All right, so another thing that I really recognized with my energy is that it's more about what people recognize about me, and then I realize later is that people really feel like themselves around me. And it really has to do with the majority of this centering circuit that does exist, is that people feel like they can be themselves around me, that they can come back to themselves around me, or the complete opposite, because I have this channel of judgment. So people will feel judgment free, or they'll feel completely the opposite, is that they can't be themselves around me and they feel completely judged. But it's usually the opposite, is where people do feel cozy and comfy around me. And having my spleen so heavily defined, people feel so cozy, comfy around me, safe. So having this idea that people feel safe and cozy around me, they don't have fear when they're around me because they feel like they can conquer the world around me. I need to keep that into consideration, because just because what's safe and healthy for me, it doesn't mean that that's safe and healthy for the other person. Just because I'm instantaneously hopping into an unmarked van with no windows, try to barter for some purses in Chinatown, is safe for me, it doesn't necessarily mean that that's safe for the other. So I need to take that into consideration. Now, people have always said that when Katie says she's going to do something, and she's going to get it done. And that actually comes from here. I have this consistent access to willpower, and when I do decide that I want to do something, yeah, I do have this good sense, or this great sense of commitment. People wouldn't say that I'm a person who flops out on plans, or if I do decide to flop on plans, I do vocalize it to you that no, I won't be able to commit to you this time. So people see me as a person that does have a good sense of commitment. So, but the thing is, though, is that right here and here, it kind of has this, because it's kind of like all connected together. My willpower, my commitments power, it really thinks that it has more energy than it does to go, 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 go. Because this commitment center is also like inadvertently connected to our brain. It's like, you have to go, you have to do this, you have to pressurize yourself, and oh, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, it's just a little bit further. So, I have a great chance of becoming burnt out, just because I do understand really clearly what is correct for me or not by my ahas and ahs. I do have the capability of becoming burnt out. Now, here, within the heart center, there is some PHS, personal health system, that we can talk about. I don't know much of PHS, but within these 4 gates here, we can talk about the thymus, the stomach, the heart, and the gallbladder. Now, I have pushed and pushed and pushed and pushed beyond my energy's capabilities, and I mentally know that, and I physically know that. And guess what? I have stomach issues. I have autoimmune issues. This is the autoimmune area here. Because I pushed and pushed and pushed beyond what my body was capable of doing. So you can actually find dis-ease within the centers that are actually defined. So my stomach is eating itself because of this autoimmune disorder that I have. And the less and less that I go, the better and better my stomach is. And the less autoimmune I am. All right, so I am this person who has this insatiability for life where it seems like nothing, once I'm done something, I just keep on going because I'm insatiable. The thing is that I honestly see this truly as me because this happens to be my shining light out into the world. The 5818, the channel of judgment, a design of insatiability. Now, regarding this here, one of the channels is aliveness, the joyous, and the other gate is talking about what has been spoilt and correction. So for me, my husband, my fiance, he sees this as what the creator of this system sees it as, is the channel of the bitch. Nag, 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 bitch, 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 correct, correct, correct. Because I do have this channel of waiting details. Sorry, that's not details. Sorry. My apology. Up here's details. This is the fixed patterns. So I am able to clearly and consciously see fixed patterns and judge them and fix them and correct what has been spoiled. So, my mom has also like even got me a little ornament that says cold hands, warm heart. You know, I know it's wrong. And I have the eye to be able to fix it and smell what's wrong with it, within it. And to be able to trial and error it and correct it. Now, I never really saw this as like my opportunity out into the world before until my last job. I mean, I'm a full-time streamer now, but my last job before that. This here is all about what is correct for me will be correct for the collective. So if I'm acting myself, if I'm exploring my convictions and acting myself for myself, and that will be empowering and that will be inspirational. Yet I never found that I was being that inspirational or that empowering people towards the collective. I was like, how is the collective receiving this? But in my last job, I recognized that something was wrong. The mental health within our organization was bad. And I brought it up. But I actually kept it hidden. Like I kept it to myself until the new boss man of the conglomerate said, hey, what's wrong with our business? And I'm like, verbal diarrhea, let's just give it to you. I actually got fired for telling them too many truths, and that actually comes from here. You know, how do you know when's the proper time to say the proper truth or too many truths or, you know, the correct truth at the proper timing? So I actually did put myself in the line of fire to make my experience better for my team. Because without me mentioning all of those things, it wouldn't have been acknowledged that there is a problem within the mental health area of the organization and that it does need to be corrected. So that is what I saw. You know, I saw that it was spoiled, our mental health, and I'm going to bring the collective to something better. So that is what is within my energy. Now, I always thought it was like, oh, I'm a psychic. I'm going to bring someone from something bad to something good. But what I actually see this as is that humanity is spoiled. All of us. And we all need to be fixed. So I want to help the world come to a place of more happiness and peace within them. That is what I see that as now. because I never could see that within me, and I never knew how I could do that. But I can see how I can do that now, and it's through human design. And right here, this is a channel of surrender, a design of a transmitter. That means that I have something to say to my tribe. I am going to sell my tribe something. What is it that I'm going to sell? Something that I respond to. Something that I am going to be the role model of. Something that I need my network to, I depend on my network to speak that message out. And I have to surrender to what it is that comes back at me. So I'm going to trial and error my message. I'm going to trial and error what it is that I need to put out into the world as my message. And you guys have seen that within me. We started with other things, we tried different things, and we've come to a conclusion that this is where our community is going to be at. This is my message, human design. And with human design, me exploring my convictions no matter what, acting my behavior of self, being alert to what is healthy for me, my tribe will notice that human design works for me, and it'll inspire my tribe to want to use human design. Therefore, once it gets to the tribe, it'll eventually get to the whole collective, so the whole collective can eventually bring themselves to a better spot. So when I first saw myself as the right angle cross of service, I actually said, ew, that's my purpose in life. I'm like, I'm going to be on the ground bowing down to people my whole life as my purpose in life? No, that's not it at all. Even though I have these profiles where I'm supposed to be like this to the world, you know, be impervious to everything going on around me, this particular profile is very transpersonal, where it is actually about the other, because how can it not be about the other when it's about the network, really? So regarding the right angle cross of service, the right angle is all about, you know, the blinders on in the world too. So people have called me self-absorbed, all of those words that aren't really nice about being alert about the self. And that kind of comes from this, the right angle. I am meant to be ignorant to all of the karma in the world. And that's kind of why my mom gave me that that ornament that says cold hands, warm heart, because I am impervious to all the karma out in the world, and I am out here creating my own new karma. So one of my abilities that I have, that I was alert of, is that I know how psychic you can be. And that actually comes from here. So talent agencies, they usually have, the person running it usually has this full channel, because they really do know what a person has or what it takes to get to the top, and they can smell it within that person. And that person's not going to get to the top by sleeping with the boss or lying. So regarding this being me, I have a fixed way of understanding what is correct for me in a pressurized manner, like in my environment. And I do understand what is correct and safe and healthy for me. And I do know which direction in life I am going. And I am going to explore my convictions no matter what. I am this very powerful person who is, see, look at this, this multiple channels all integrated into one. A channel of perfected form, a design of survival. I know what is correct for my form and how I'm going to survive. And everybody around me has always been like, dude, Katie, how do you know that you're allergic to so many things without the doctor even telling you? It's because my body has told me I am here to survive. I have perfected my form. I have the channel of being, or the channel power, design of being an archetype. And that is very conscious to me. And I know that I'm a powerful being. And I always said it was an alpha kind of thing. And it's not because I was tooting my own horn. It's just because, like, when I stand somewhere, other people just, it's not that they're intimidated by the power, but they feel the power within my energy. And they kind of like walk around me instead of like directly into me. Because like if you were to go to the bar, you get like knocked on the shoulder, kind of pushed around because the bars are so full. Not me. People don't knock into me. They just don't. I don't know if that's that where it's come from, but like I am a powerful being. But what am I a powerful being of? A design of an archetype? What am I an archetype of? I'm an archetype of being myself. And you guys can clearly see. And it actually really makes me happy. You're like, Katie, why are you going back to work? You're a streamer. You're a content creator. And I'm just like, yes, I am. You recognize that I am going to follow my convictions no matter what. And that I am this powerful form of being a streamer within this psychic realm. It's beautiful. Thank you for recognizing that within me. It's exciting. So yeah, I am showing you what it is like to be a psychic person working from home during COVID, this powerful being who judges things and able to bring something to its better state. So, now the last one here, the channel of exploration, the design of following one's own convictions. I've already said it. People could have called me, stubborn or, other words like that. But this here, I'm going to do whatever the heck I want to do. And nobody is going to tell me otherwise. Now, you might be like, well, what about your hubby? What about your parents? I had to follow their lead when I was younger, but my hubby, he actually has the same channel of following one's own convictions no matter what, but it's following his own convictions. So like we're both butting each other in the head, we can explore things together, but we're really here to explore our own things separately, but together. So, even with my fiance, he says that, he's not saying I'm stubborn, but, I need to have it my way. But it's true. I do need to have it my way because otherwise it's going to be unhealthy or unsafe for me. And it's not going to bring the collective to the better. And it's not going to make the tribe better if I say no. So I literally listen at this point to every single or I was offered a job 2 weeks ago and my body said, well, unfortunately, folks, that means no. But I said yes. That means I'm going against my purpose right now. So I need to take that in consideration immediately. Am I going to immediately start applying for new jobs within this new conglomerate that I just got into because it's a unionized position and I can do that? This here, it really has the chance of me being the stick in the mud because I have the capability of sitting down, seeing the fixed patterns and like just being like, and just like noticing the fixed patterns. Not necessarily because on the opposite side of this is the gate of extremes. So that's what I'm talking about. The opposite of extreme. So this is the gate of waiting, understanding what needs to happen before something else needs to go. So that's really a combination of that. So what's really fun is that people have called me up before and was like, yo, Katie, what's the fastest way to get to this place? Because they recognize that I recognize the fixed patterns for the collective. So I do. What else can I say about this colored in stuff? Yes, right here. This is the arousing. This is really the gate of shock, or it's like really about being competitive. So I am a very competitive being. It's an individual channel, even though this is tribal. This is individual. It's about a part of the centering circuit again. So it's not necessarily about being competitive against the tribe. It's about being competitive that will set your direction in a particular way. And you're not leaving anybody behind. You're being competitive so that the whole tribe can get better at the same time. So, maybe you are competitive for yourself, but in all fact, the reason why you are competitive is so that you can make your tribe better or something like that. So the tribe really does benefit from your competitiveness or how shocking that you can be. So The ability to respond to disorder and shock through recognition and adaptation. Now, this is the gate of shock. So I have an open throat. So I might be just as shocked as you are when something falls out of my mouth because I have no clue the inconsistency of what is up in my head and my throat and the shock gate, what's going to fly out of my mouth. So sometimes people like to ask me random questions just to see what flies out of my mouth. And I like it, to be honest. And I'm really good at starting patterns, but I'm also very good at finishing them, maybe because I have the focus and the fixed patterns of being able to do so. But I don't necessarily have the energy to finish the experience, but I do finish my experiences all the time. So if I was going to be talking about my not self, if I'm going to find myself frustrated, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to find myself trying to be seen, trying to have a voice. Oh, listen to me, listen to me. If I'm going to be in my not self, I'm going to be telling too many truths when it's not appropriate, or I'm going to be putting on a mask so that people don't know the real me. The mask is to cover up, you can't bully me because you're bullying the mask. Or I put on a mask so that, I could be more of what people wanted me to be instead of what I truly am. So this is where people really don't rock the boat. So this is where a person avoids confrontation and truth. So right here, I run away from girl parties like baby showers and wedding showers because the typical questions are, when are you having a baby? When are you getting married? Fuck those questions. So I usually drop the present off and I run quickly. I hate going to female-based parties like that because I don't want to be rude. I really don't want to rock the boat to all those old bats that just want to, create conversation. So, like I said, I feel like this is what got me fired at my last job because I told too many truths when I was asked, what is wrong with our corporation? So if I'm in not self, I will try to possibly have all the answers or to prove that I have all the answers or just not talk at all because I don't know a fucking thing. So I don't know is a perfect answer. Saying I don't know is fine. And if I'm in my not self, I'll try to redirect the chat or redirect what I'm doing to try to accommodate what is mentally pressuring me right now. So I might try to answer questions that don't matter to me. Or, chat, you mean so much to me. But if we're going to start talking about Fortnite right now, that don't matter to me. At my last job, I did know everything within my organization. And the organization restructured. And I knew that people were going to take advantage of my brain. So I allowed it for 2 weeks. Katie, how do I do my job? Katie, how do I do my job? So I helped them. And after 2 weeks, I'm like, listen, bro, you got to do your own fucking job because you're affecting my job now. So they got really angry at me for not supporting my team anymore. But dude, do your own fucking job. I'm not here to do your job. I have my own job to do. So, this is where people find themselves being taken advantage of in the workplace. Oh, can you help me? Oh, Katie always has the answer, so I'm definitely going to go answer or ask her. Oh, Katie, what time is it? Dude, you have a fucking phone. Check your phone. There's one on the wall. There's one on your computer. I'm in the middle of something right now. Don't ask me what time it is, so you're just going to derail me. Fuck off. I made a personal decision back in grade 11 that I'm no longer going to be answering other people's computer questions. So I purposely stopped following computers and how they got better so that people would stop taking advantage of my brain. I kind of recognized it when I was younger, but I didn't know that people were taking advantage of it. I went into not self. I stopped learning about something because so other people wouldn't take advantage of that. So you can see how this really can mess with people. So, I don't want to rock a boat, so I'm going to have the question answered. I don't want to rock the boat, so I'm going to make sure I know. I don't want to rock the boat, so I have to make sure I know my presentation off by heart. So, I could have found myself very frustrated and trying to live my life out in a very frustrating way, trying to be this perfect person who is seen a particular way, keeping my truths inward, or, it caused so much frustration within my life. So, frustration is a key indicator that something needs to change in my life. Just because I started something in a correct manner, frustration is a key indicator that something could possibly need to change. It doesn't mean that I need to quit or start something. Maybe something just needs to change. Like I said, I was very frustrated in my last job. My boss got fired and I was much more satisfied, but it's highly unlikely that a boss is going to get fired. That's why a lot of people end up leaving their own positions, because they end up frustrated. So what is it like being in the life of Katie Lynn? My body makes a lot of physical errors, but my network means a lot to me. I'm a person who is instantaneous, and I'm a person who will make people feel cozy when they're around me and in my aura. I'm a person who needs to investigate in order for me to feel comfortable in my environment, but I also need people who are willing and able to allow me to make mistakes in order for me to be able to succeed in my environment. I'm a person who does know what proper commitments are correct for me through understanding my proper and and I am able to see the details and the focus needed to correct the pattern and how to bring the collective to that next stage of being great. And that's through understanding, following my own convictions no matter what, perfecting my own form, and being this powerful archetype. And that will allow my message as a transmitter to be transmitted over to the collective, that what I am doing is correct for me and it might work for them too. But I won't be able to be successful if I live in my head and try to externalize what it is that I think people want. I need to be authentic to myself and commit to what my environment is correct for me, because my instantaneous knowledge of what needs to be done is there. All right, so this is just an overview of who Katie is. And this here, I'm going to feel a lot of pressure to be social or not. It is what it is.